Dante Bowe, George me here on the show for Sports and Hip Hop with DJ Mad Max, Live 365, iHeartRadio with his brand new self-titled album, Dante Bowe. And man, it's definitely a powerful one at that. Lean on Me is
Like
definitely
your
the one.
name. I like your name, bro.
Mad Max, you like that?
Yeah, it's cool.
I appreciate it, man. It means a lot. Speaking of names, because everything has to do with names today, especially with the new album, you chose to name it after yourself. Got into why you wanted to self-title this album after your name.
Yeah, because I couldn't necessarily um find one phrase or one song to name the entire album after. I felt like, this album is like a gumbo of sounds, it's a gumbo of my ideas, and I felt like it just represents me. And so I couldn't find a title, so I just named it Dante Bowe because I just feel like it's just a personal album.
Oh, like I said before, it's powerful, man. I really enjoy listening to it. Lean On's definitely my favorite one. Breaking All the Rules.
Oh,
I love,
nice, nice.
yeah, I love that one. Breaking All the Rules with Vic Mensa. I love how you brought him in. What was it about him that attracted you to work with him and bring him for along for this collaboration?
Yeah, Vic is just cool, bro. Like I love his fashion and like I like, his artistry. And originally I think we were gonna do Chance the Rapper. Then Chance led us to Vic. And so we ended up doing it with Vic, and it could not have been more perfect. Like he was the first person to sing back his verse. It was easy. Like it was amazing.
Oh, it definitely was. It was an amazing collaboration because I love those hip hop R&B. When you look back at like the Ja Rule, J Lo records from back in the day, Boys to Men, LL Cool J, Hey
Sure.
Lover, those are classics. We need more records like that, and you're keeping the essence alive. And speaking of the essence, your biggest inspiration is Lauryn Hill.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lauryn Hill. Like I that's who I want to collab with. Like that's my like goal. Like, is like to get to that point where I can at least meet Lauryn Hill for sure.
The Miseducation is a classic. The stuff with the Fugees is all iconic and timeless.
Her voice is timeless, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, like for real.
she could do it all: rap, sing,
Yep, yep.
multi-talented. It,
Pop, she's just a star. You
Yeah.
know?
And so are you, man. But I heard at this young age, before we get, because I want to get into your first thing that you wrote, which was a rap song. I want to get into, because you, at a young age, you were receiving these DVDs of Usher, Michael Jackson, and watching these guys perform. I'm curious about these DVDs. Was these
Yo,
the re
you know your stuff, bro.
I appreciate it. Were these DVDs footage from their concerts, or was it music videos?
Yeah, it was footage from their concerts. And then back in the day, some of the CDs, like the albums would come with like extra CDs, or like
When you open up the glass case in the back, it would have a
yeah, yeah,
layer with
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah. And it
Yeah, I
would be
remember
like
those.
concert or this or that. And so yeah, bro, like that was my kind of gifts when I was younger. I didn't really want toys. I loved music so much that's what my dad and my mom would buy me. And would you ask after that?
Oh, that was just basically, I wanted to know if it was concert footage or music videos. So you answered
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it was concert footage for the most part, bro. I would literally spend hours. It was like I was in rehearsal for nothing, but I would spend hours as a kid just rehearsing their routines and stuff like that. For real, learning the musicality, all that stuff. But I didn't at the time obviously know that I was, going to be who I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah, big time, multi-nominated for Grammys, and I heard that you were shocked. Why were you shocked? Because you have a lot of talent. What was it? And you were also emotional. You did say that. I understand that, but why were you shocked?
Because I wasn't looking for a Grammy now, like for real. And in my genre, it was like when I got five, when I was going to the Grammys and I had five nominations, it was just like, I was like, wow, like that's kind of crazy to me. I thought it would happen, but not this soon. You know what I mean? I would have felt like I would have worked a little longer. A lot of people work their whole career to get one Grammy, so I felt as though, man, this is my first, technically like my first few years in the industry. And, I didn't expect it that fast.
Yeah. No, what is your definition of happiness in this music industry? Because we know the politics behind it, and when you were going through a rough time, and you created your labels, because you had two of them with Amen and True. You created one for worship and one for the mainstream and the radio hits. So, talk to me. What is your definition of happiness in this industry?
Um, I think being dependent on God, like just not man's opinion, not what people want you to do. And because they'll, they'll pull you every way. You know what I mean? They'll pull you every which way. And so I think just following God, you know what I'm saying, and doing the right things, it really does keep me happy in this season. I'm just speaking from a personal place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I could tell that you're happy right now, and you were recording a bunch because you did 3 albums in a few months here, so you definitely were in a creative mind space.
Bro, I don't even know. Like that was just it happened so fast. Like I was just doing it, I guess. You know, you just when you're in the hustle and bustle of it all, I guess you don't really pay attention to how much you're creating until you look back in hindsight and you're like, wow, it's a lot of music.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you got a lot in the vault. Back to this rap song that you wrote when you were 11 or 12. Your mom heard it. She made this face that it was terrible, but she was like, "All right, keep working." What was the song that turned that face into a smile of pride and joy when she was like, "My son has talent"?
Well, she probably preferred me to sing. I think I mean I've tried a lot of different things musically, and I rapped a little bit on the new album. You know, I got this song
Yeah.
called Fire, and not rap, but you know what I mean. Like it was like singing rap. But yeah, I think she she probably just thought it was cute, not something that I should be pursuing, like being a rapper, and at least not at the time. But what turned it into a smile is just she always encouraged me to do what I wanted to do, and she would always smile. She would always be proud of like everything I would create. You know what I mean? But I think she preferred me singing than giving her a rap song. You know, but I was one of those singers that I would like be in the shower or like when no one was in the house, I'd sing. Like I didn't want people to know I could sing. And so my grandmother found out and she told the whole family.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it got found out from there. I think I've heard Guy with Aaron Hall and Teddy Riley. I think they recorded their first album in the bathroom and at the church. I forget where I've heard that. Have you heard about that story before?
No, no. What happened?
Yeah, I heard that Aaron Hall and Teddy Riley and Guy, they recorded some of their first songs or their first album in a bathroom. So it's kind of interesting because I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
I
that's
always hear the
probably
effect.
for the reverb, I imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, I think it's the reverb for sure.
Have you
That
thought about bringing back and paying homage to New Jack Swing?
no, I know I haven't. Now I am. I had to really think about that. I'm like, have I? You know, no. Should I?
I think you should. You
Okay.
got the vocals.
Let me look into that.
Yeah.
Look into that. Yes, sir. Do you rap?
I don't rap. I don't rap. I don't sing. I just interview. I'm a journalist.
You just love hip hop.
Yeah, just love hip hop and R&B.
Hip hop and R&B. I love it.
Gospel, yeah. Those are my two main right there.
So what do you rate my album 1 to 10?
I give it a 10.
For real?
Yeah, no, I do because it's creativity. Because I complimented you on the range of this album, not even just the vocals, but there's a lot of messages on here as well. There's a lot of meaning behind it, and then you incorporate in Vic Mensa on it. You doing a little bit of the melodic, rap yourself. So it's not just one fourth, one sound thing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You already know. And when we talk about the song Hide, that's important because you talk about there's being so much overexposure in this industry, and you really don't have your private life. When we look at Michael Jackson back on his album Invincible, I need my privacy. You don't
Yeah.
get that.
No. I mean, you do. I mean, for me, you fight for it. I my manager's just telling me that I don't talk enough because I genuinely don't. I don't really people might perceive me on Instagram or Twitter, whatever, as the one that's like really vocal, or I might say something really funny. Like today, I made a post that was really funny about just fashion or whatever the case may be. And but that's me really like letting people in. That's my way of letting you in, like just to laugh at you, because that's how I laugh at my friends. You know what I mean? And I I don't really let people just come into my personal life like that. And I think a lot of times in the industry, it's not the fans, it's the actual execs, and it's the you know the A&R and all the different things that's moving around you. You're on tour. You got you. I was in a group. You know, you have all these different people that's in your life, and so it can be sometimes if you don't have God, it can really be challenging at times. You know, and for a Michael Jackson level, I mean, I don't even know what that's like. He
Yeah,
can't
we
go
saw the
anywhere.
struggles he
Can't
was
do
going through.
anything.
Yeah, he
That's sad.
couldn't. Yeah, it's sad. You can't even leave your house because you'll just anywhere you go, the cameras will be on you. Someone's ready to critique you. And that social media, the cameras are inside our houses now. So you got to be extra careful because you said it when you were going through your tough time that you were afraid how people were viewing you on social media. And social media is just there's a lot of mental health issues with it. It exposes a lot of people, but at the same time, it, it doesn't reveal a person's true intentions either. It's a big mental game.
Yeah, I don't know why people perceive me as anything other than cool and kind, bro. Like it's like I think ultimately, I think ultimately people sometimes just they can't really wrap their heads around your blessings or and they kind of they will look for something wrong with you, you know, and some people actually look for something wrong. Isn't that crazy? Like I think we're supposed to think the best of everybody, you know what I mean? Like and to actually wake up and try to find something wrong. Like I was reading comments about, you know, Blue Ivy's on tour with Beyonce, right?
Mhm.
It's like these grown men commenting, like these grown women, these grown men commenting about if she's a good dancer or not, or if she's this, if she's that. Like she's standing up in front of a stadium of like I would like them to try to do what she's doing on tour. But some people are just looking for something negative to say. And so even if it doesn't make sense, they're gonna say it, you know.
Yeah,
That's
especially her. She's going to be under that microscope.
yeah. We gotta pray for Blue Ivy.
Yeah, it's tough because I know you're so rooted in your faith. Do you feel as though that mainstream has made it shameful in a way to admit that you're all about your faith and that you believe in God? Do you feel as though that mainstream kind of makes it not the cool thing?
Um, I think it's cooler. I think when you say you have something past this life, it's just at least you just sound like you have goals, and it sounds like that you wake up with purpose. I think spiritual people are attractive people. I think people that aren't spiritual are still attractive and good people, but I believe at a certain age and a certain time, you have to kind of, you know, life is gonna get harder. You know, the older we get, you know, we'll deteriorate. Like we'll lose family, we'll start losing friends. You know, um, yeah, and I think it just shows that you know you're a little bit more anchored. Like I wouldn't marry somebody that didn't have faith. You know what I mean? Because I know that's when I'm older and I'm sick or whatever the case may be, I'm gonna want somebody with a little faith or something. Like, and you don't have to go to church or like do it how everybody does it. I mean, but definitely be able to like meditate and pray with me, you know.
That's important. And
Important.
you
It's
had your
important.
spiritual awakening at the age of 16. That's when you gave your life to Christ.
Yeah.
Sure, sure.
Yeah. Have you seen the have you heard the song Fire on the album?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I was talking about um how I didn't know back then I'd be criticized when I gave my life, you know, Christ and stuff like that. But that was really the day yeah, 16 years old. Like that was kind of the year I gave my life. Yeah. Yeah. And I haven't turned back since.
No, and I heard about everything that you went through from the abuse and the homelessness and dyslexia. That's what real your whole journey is just a true inspiration. You really are a testament, man. Just everything that you've been through, you've been able to overcome it, and then you see the Grammy nominations and all the hard work that you put in, this talent. You really are a testament, man.
Yeah, bro. And now the test is learning how to be as kind as possible. Like that's the new test. Like for me, like I think I've mastered, you know, in and of itself, my style of songwriting, and I'm gonna always get better and better. But I gotten into a point where it can be awarded. You know what I mean? And they need to start giving out like the like the kindest artist of the year award at the Grammys, and then like let's just see, or like just start encouraging people to be kind. I think like we're in such a weird place in, you know, not just America, but in our world, you know, where hate is just accepted, you know,
Yeah.
and so that is really something that I want to master for real, is being a dope person. And I mean, I'm a dope person, but I want to be better at that.
I agree. Everything that I've read about and seen, and just your character here, man, I can tell this is who you are. You know, I don't know, like, because this is what you want to work on, but from what I see here, you've already mastered being a kind person.
Thank you, bro. I think I'm a very kind person. I really do,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It's just everyday thing, you know. It really is an everyday thing. And I think a lot of people can sing, dance, even people that go to church and pray. Like people try to brag about how much they love God. It's like, ugh. But it's like just whatever the case may be. I think at the end of the day, like love and kindness would can change the world, bro.
What was the
Love.
most important life lesson or something that you learned during the making of the self-titled album Dante Bowe?
Life lesson. Oh, I probably I needed to pray more. You know, but it is true. Like it really did keep me humble and made me centered. Like I felt a little centered when I made this album. I was very happy. It was a blissful time. Like we were laughing and dancing and singing, and yeah, and we were creating music. And sometimes when you're making an album, it can be very stressful. That's probably why I didn't know how many songs I was making, because I was really in bliss. Like I was really having an amazing time. We were in Carmel, California. But the greatest lesson, yeah, I think it's just the first time in my life, maybe where God is first for real. I don't know. Like that's what it feels to me. It feels like that would have been the greatest lesson. That's what it feels like. Yeah.
Yeah. How are these next two albums going to connect to this one that you just released? Because you got them in the stash, you got them in the vault, but you recorded so much during the short period with these months. How are the next two going to connect to this one?
I, you know, it's crazy. I don't even know. I think for the Amen stuff for sure connects to my album, I believe, because I wrote it in the same season. And so just the different style, of course. And so sonically it's going to sound like worship, but um it's still coming from the same heart, same place, you know, and a victorious place. There's some sad songs on the Amen album too, and just because that was a hard season for all of us too, you know, and Tiana, um, Aaron Moses, and Nate Diaz, they were like super helpful in like creating these songs as well. So you'll get a little taste of their styles and everything like that. But I think it'll connect maybe more lyrically than sonically, if that makes sense.
Okay. No, it does, because there's a message behind it, so people are going to be able to hear the stories. Rockingham, this is where you're from, North Carolina. How is it now? There was only two schools here. Nobody made it out. You made it out. How is it now that you've made it big in the industry? Is it final? Is there finally some movement down there musically? Is there starting to be some establishment?
No, and I haven't made it big yet, but
I think you had Grammy nominations and everything that you've accomplished. I'm telling you, you've made it big. BMI Songwriter of the Year.
I haven't done anything yet. I am so looking forward to my future. I can't even breathe. I'm telling you. But yeah, like there's you know what's crazy? There's so much talent in Rockingham. Like I remember when I went to school, right? In middle school and high school, and there were so many singers, bro. Like not just your average singers, like amazing singers. Three of us went on the road together actually from high school. Um, Shout out to China and Tanisha. And they just decided to go back home though. I just stuck with it, but they were just as good. I mean they were just as good. And so my best friend Blake, we used to be on Fruity Loops making beats, and we and we would be recording ourselves and like passing out our CDs at school. That's something I never really told anybody. Then I had a best friend named Billy. He played the piano for church, and so he would be the one teaching me. Oh, he's the one that actually taught me first my chords actually. And so there's a lot of talent there. I mean, sometimes those places it's just so boring that people just kind of go with the status quo and they just do what's easier because there's not a lot of motion. Like there's not a lot of motion. There's no city. There's no, you know, sometimes people could just get to the point, it's not, no pun intended, but they can get hopeless, you know what I mean? And so, you know what song that is? You heard Not Hopeless?
Yes, I did hear Not Hopeless.
Yeah, I think sometimes people get to the point where, like in those small towns, that they can get just hopeless and just don't see the end of the tunnel. But there's talent. There's always been music talent. I mean, we can probably go scout some people. True can probably go scout some people right now. Actually, that might be a good idea.
Yeah. No, we need more expansion. And that's great that you would be helping out bringing the resources to people that may not have it back at home.
Yeah, no, that would probably be a good idea. Sometimes you look for talent in these big, these places that make sense, whatever the case may be. But maybe the small town, maybe I'm giving away my secret.
Got to keep it a trade secret.
Yeah, let me just shh.
I want to talk about how you formed this dynamic duo here with John because he was the one that's been in your corner for a long time, especially as a producer, and him knocking on the door when you weren't answering your phone got you ready to get back on your feet here with the music. So tell me how this relationship started and how this bond came to be.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, John's just a really good person. He's a really good human being. And he's spoiled, right? Like John's so spoiled. And so he does what he wants when he wants. And he came to the house and because I wasn't answering my phone at the time, and we just talked and we had a drink, and then we were like, let's go to the studio. And so that was the day I started working on my album. It was crazy. Like album was not in the plan, first of all. Like I was ready, I was about to go on tour. I got a $3 million tour deal, the Joyful tour, before all that stuff happened to me. And so I wasn't thinking about recording an album. And I think that was just God sending John over to, you know, kind of force me kind of to think his way, like God wanted that. God, that was God's plan. But I was so over my head, something I wasn't even thinking about. And so that was the day, yeah, that it became a album. And our duo is just brotherhood. It's easy to be a duo when you you like the person, you know what I mean? And so that's more than we make music well together. Like more than that, we bond. Like we got a good friendship. Like we talk, so we hang out, we laugh, and we made this album, like I said earlier, full of bliss. Like we made it laughing and like talking, and we didn't really cry. Yeah, I was about to
Yeah.
say cry. I was like, but we didn't really cry. But yeah, man, it's a definite duo for sure. And I love everything he created. I could not have done it without him, for real. He started the sound of this album. He started it. Like that was his sound musically.
Shout out to John and him putting together this masterpiece that we have here.
I mean, for real. Like my
Yeah.
favorite song he produced was Dancing on the Moon, probably from that. If I could think about like just we were in Carmel, if I could think about just how everybody was feeling, like it was at that point we had so many songs recorded, right? And so when it gets to that point, you're like picky, you start getting all choosy and picky. And I remember we were starting this one song and none of us liked it. And um Field Harrison was in the room, and Dr. Phil, he didn't like it. And he was just like, nah, scratch this beat. So we scratched the beat we had been working on, right? And Dancing on the Moon just came about like out of nowhere. Like that was the song we created next. And it was I would say that's one of my favorite songs that John produced, for the record, for sure.
What do you feel as though the most important test that you faced from God in this industry? What was some symbolism that was a test? If you feel comfortable speaking on it.
Not being prideful, not being
Not
arrogant,
being
not like, because I'm attractive and I dress well, and God has truly blessed me. Like I don't supposed to be this blessed. Like his grace and his mercy. Like he's just so good to me. He's so good to my friends and my family and all this stuff. And so it can be easy sometimes to just maybe say something that's arrogant, and or do something that might be a little arrogant. You know what I mean? Or I don't even do this anymore, I guess. But I think in the earlier days, like bragging, like I don't even brag about nothing for real. Like it can all be gone like that. I've learned that. You know what I mean? So just bragging, saying you better than somebody. That's the test. Yeah.
that's
Thinking
deep.
thinking you're better than somebody.
That's deep. 'Cause I know a lot of people say if no one's gonna toot your horn, you gotta toot it yourself.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, sometimes I toot my horn, but there's a way to do it. Like, you know, what I'm saying? Like, there's a way to do it in humility. Like, I know I'm a great singer. I know, like I told you, like I do think I'm attractive. I do think I dress nice. I do think I'm super blessed, but that's how you're supposed to say it.
Yeah,
It's not about me versus them. You know what I mean? It's just that this is what God has done in my life, but it doesn't make me better than anybody. You know what I mean? Because like this stuff is so temporary. You know what I mean? So you just got to be a dope ass artist while you have the chance. Change the world, inspire the world. Like you don't have time for negativity. You don't have time to go through the comments and do all that stuff. You don't have time to look at your brother or your sister in a way that you shouldn't. And it's like at the end of the day, um, it's all just temporary stuff.
yeah,
Like make great music. I feel like it would last forever. Like I think when I die, my music will never die.
I agree because it's energy, and energy
Yeah,
never dies.
yeah, and it's eternal. It's, if you have a great message, like you can play like I went to Michael Jackson's play in New York.
Mhm.
It was the
Was it
what's it called?
Scream? Was it Scream? It might have been
But
something
it
with
was
Thriller, maybe. Yeah,
Thriller. I think it was
yeah,
Thriller. I think it was Thriller. But it was Broadway. Yeah, it was this
yeah.
Broadway play, and I mean, the guy really was Michael Jackson. I mean, I think people started thinking he was Michael Jackson for real. They were like, you know what I mean? And but just listening to those songs again just gives me the same emotion, bro. Like, and he's been dead for a long time. You know what I mean? R.I.P. I love Michael Jackson, like the greatest to ever do it. But at the same time, I just really am inspired by that play in and of itself. I want to make sure that my music is eternal. Like I don't want to make dumb music. Like I don't want to talk about popping pills. I don't want to talk about it's just dumb. Like it's
Yeah,
not.
I agree.
I don't care. Like it's not even that I'm like so. I'm not even scared of that stuff. Like that is what it is. Like I've lived, but it's like it's what are we like? What's the point of like spending $1 million to make an album and talk about pill popping? Like that is so lame. That's lame as hell. Like
I
why do people?
agree.
I would never spend money on that content. So it's like when people turn that in, I mean, to each his own. But I just think it's not valuable.
Yeah. Well, I was having a conversation yesterday because I was listening to Nelly's song Dilemma with Kelly Rowland, and we don't
Yeah,
get songs like that anymore. And the guy
Nelly,
I was
right?
talking
Like
to
that's
said
good
it's straight
music.
to this disgusting and vulgarness when it comes to love songs now. It's not on the surface level anymore and in a done in a dope way.
Yeah, like breaking all my rules, the sound of it, in which
Yeah, Vic
Chad
Mensa. Yep.
did this with me, and the sound of it is like that Jay-Z and J-Lo song. You know that song? What's it? Boom, 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 boom. I can't think of chorus. Dun, 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 dun. Ain't no one day. Oh, baby, you wanted me when you had me. Love is crazy.
The Ja Rule.
I'm
Ja Rule,
surprised.
Ja Rule and J Lo. I'm real.
Yes. Ain't,
Oh, ain't it funny? Ain't it funny?
ain't
That's it.
it funny?
Yeah.
Like that's good music. Like it don't have to be Christian, like, but it can be something that makes people feel like energetic, like, but not sluggish. You know what I mean? Some music just makes you feel heavy.
Oh, it does. Yeah, it's a lot of it's negativity, and yeah, I just can't. It's not the same what I grew up off of and what I enjoy. As far as because you said you're just beginning, you haven't done anything. What is it that you're working towards on the musical side of things that you're looking to accomplish?
Um, I just want to be a superstar because I think the more influence I have, the more influence I have. And I think I'm a good, I think I'm a good role model. I think I'm a person that I wouldn't mind my nephews looking up to and my nieces looking up to. Um, yeah, I take my life seriously. So that's to me, the more influence I have, the more reach and the more I can like inspire.
And you do. Dante Bowe is truly an inspiration. This album. one of a kind. It's going to stand the test of time. Before we close out, big Duke guy, you're a huge Duke fan. Who's your all-time favorite Duke basketball player?
Oh man, my dad's gonna. Ugh, I don't even, man. It's been so long. I don't even know who would be my favorite. Hmm, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who would be my favorite. I'm trying to think of who was.
Zion.
No, 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 not Zion. Cool though. I don't know, man.
Dante Bowe, man, is there anything else you would love to let your fans know that we didn't talk about here? Anything else about the album that you want to get out there?
Oh, I just want to tell them I love them. I love y'all. Thank you for all your love and support. And we're gonna take this to the top, and we're gonna tour, and it's gonna be a good time. So I just want to tell them I love them.
Right, man. And I appreciate you for showing the support, loving your fans, and being a true person and being real to yourself. That's important at the end of the day.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, man. It's a good
Of
interview.
course. I appreciate
Is
it.
that who's on the back of your wall?
Oh, I
Who?
got Tupac, J-Lo, Prince, Whitney Houston. Yeah.
I need me a little wall like that, bro. Just constant inspiration. You got all the greatest people behind you.
Yeah.
And I like your sign too, Hustle. I got a sign in my house that says gratitude is everything.
Oh, it's
Like a
deep.
light up sign like that.
Like that one that glows on the light. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like the
Oh,
sound.
Dante,
Thank you.
man, I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, man. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me.
Of course, man. Anytime they can follow you on Instagram and Twitter at Dante Bowe, go get the new album.
Amen.
You already know, man. Take care, stay safe. I'm looking forward to the next what's on the horizon as far as the next albums goes and everything you have on the way.
Thank you, sir.
You already
Appreciate
know,
it.
man. Enjoy the rest of your day, all right?
All right, you too.